So thank you, Simon, for that introduction, and welcome everyone. It's incredibly gratifying to see so many interested and intelligent people come together today over these very, very important topics that I think we all share an importance about how they're relating to our health and our lifestyle and society. So, what I wanted to do in this first quick presentation is to give everyone an idea, a background, a context to what the Regenerate movement is about. And there are in various other ways of looking at health and different approaches, but what we're doing here in Regenerate is really bringing together what I believe are the three most important pillars that we need to address and look after if we are to really attack this at a holistic and well-balanced way. So, welcome to Regenerate. Welcome all. And the question that we're going to discuss very quickly is, Regenerate is a decentralized health movement. And what does that even mean? To understand this, we can contrast a centralized system and a decentralized system. So a centralized system, as you can see pretty clearly, is based on a central node. And this central node is providing information or dictating the outcome to all those other nodes. And this contrasts to a decentralized system, which has multiple nodes and is much more distributed but much more robust. And this is important because the key systems that we have in our society are prone to centralization. And what do I mean by that? Well, agriculture and farming, food and dietary advice, medicine, health, and medical decision-making are all prone to centralization. So all of these affect your health, and that is why that's so relevant. So the dictionary definition of centralized is to concentrate by placing power and authority in a center or central organization. Pretty straightforward. So what we're going to do is play a little question and answer. And I'm going to put some slides up, and I want you to tell me whether you think this is a centralized or a decentralized system. So what is this? Does anyone have an idea what we have here? This is a concentrated animal feeding operation, or CAFO operation. Centralized or decentralized? Pretty straightforward. This is Jake Wolke's pastured pork operation near Albury, New South Wales. Pigs are free to roam, get out in the mud, get dirty, get sunlight, eat their species-appropriate diet. Is this centralized or decentralized? Pretty straightforward. This is a feedlot beef operation. Centralized or decentralized? Do you know as a consumer what the animal that you're going to be eating has been treated with? You don't have any idea. This is Charlie Arnott's farm near Burra, New South Wales. Centralized or decentralized? This is a wheat monocrop. Any ideas? So we don't know what's been sprayed on this. We don't know when the last time it was sprayed in between its harvest and its final processing. Any ideas what this is? This is rapeseed or canola oil. The process of growing and refining canola oil, what do you think? This is a centralized system. This is a very unique operation called Misty Creek Agroforestry, and they essentially grow a range of tree crops, and they run their eggs, their laying hens, in between the rows of the crops, and they call those tree range eggs. So what do you think this is? That's a highly decentralized system. Coles and Woolies. Local farmers markets. Australian dietary guidelines. And they're telling you to restrict unprocessed red meat. They're telling you to restrict animal-derived fats that our species have eaten for thousands and hundreds and thousands and millions of years. And they want you to consume soy and legumes and eat an essentially quasi-vegetarian type diet. So I don't think there's a better example of centralized advice than that. On that theme, the health star rating. So our vegetable oil, probably containing canola, sunflower, and the rest, that gets a 4.5. And your highly unprocessed butter that comes out of the cow's udder in the same way it did thousands of years ago, that gets a 1 star. It's a centralized system. That's centralized advice. These are indigenous hunters, and they're doing what their ancestors did since they walked to Australia and came here 60,000 years ago. Decentralized. What about these kids? Are they following any dietary advice right now? I don't think so. They don't need to be told what to do. That's decentralized. Dr. Anthony Chaffee's YouTube channel, which at the time of speaking is now crossed 300,000 subscribers. This is decentralized education. What about Low Carb Down Under? And its founder, Dr. Rod Taylor and Pete, who is on the camera now, have done a sterling job since 2012 and now have over 500,000 subscribers. So give them a clap. And thank Rod when you see him. This is decentralized education. And I have to thank Rod personally because this channel was the entry point for me into this world of health and a decentralized health. What about medical mandates? Well, that's pretty centralized. I think George Orwell would be incredibly chuffed with the saying in the background, staying apart keeps us together. In infectious diseases epidemiology, we call these non-pharmacological interventions. I think it's pretty obvious. Alfred Hospital, centralized or decentralized? But if you're in a multi-vehicle trauma, if you have burns, or you need emergency care, there's one place that I know I'd want to be. So there is a place for centralized medical care. So we need to keep that in mind, and we need to think about this in a nuanced way. What about light-dark cycles? Is someone programming the sun and moon to come up every morning and night? Absolutely not. And circadian biology that runs on a 24-hour cycle is a fundamentally decentralized system. Mother Nature, there's no more decentralized system than Mother Nature. Reserve Bank of Australia, central banking, I think it's pretty obvious. It's a centralized system. Peer-to-peer, any ideas? That sounds like a decentralized system to me. So how can we think about decentralization? Well, it's a dispersion or distributions of functions and powers. And why do we care? Well, I gave you some hints about why this is important. Because centralized systems are prone to capture. What does that mean? The FDA and Moderna's cozy relationship, how lax rules enabled a revolving door culture. After holding oversight roles for COVID vaccines, 2 regulators from the US FDA, Food and Drug Administration, went to work for Moderna, and this was published in the British Medical Journal. I'll quote, "Researchers followed the trajectories of 55 medical reviewers involved in drug approvals in FDA's hematology oncology division. One of the most lucrative aspects of centralized medicine is hematology and oncology. What they found was that the 26 officers who left the FDA, 15 later worked or consulted for industry. And they similarly found, a different report found that 11 of 16 FDA medical examiners who left the agency eventually went on to consult for industry. This can create at least the appearance of conflicts of interest. Well, I think it's a lot more than just an appearance of conflict of interest. Centralized systems rely on trust. We have to trust that this rating system is actually good for us. We have to trust that this pig doesn't contain an antibiotic chemical contaminant that has a meaningful detrimental impact to our health. We have to trust that this is truly a species-appropriate diet. And we have to trust that inflation is something that is foregone, and we have to trust central banks not to dilute our money. So the pillars of Regenerate are fundamentally decentralized: quantum and circadian biology, carnivore, animal-based and ancestral diets, and regenerative farming. All in accordance with Mother Nature and our biological and evolutionary programming. So the message that I invite everyone to take away and think about throughout this day, as you hear from 6 amazing speakers, is we want to decentralize your life. You want to decentralize your food sourcing, your food production, your health, your money, your lifestyle. But maybe most importantly, do you want to decentralize your mind? Thank you for attending Regenerate. And what is going to start as a snowball will become an avalanche. Thank you.